Welcome, everyone, to the Daily HiFi podcast. My name is Chana. With me, as always, we have Michael and Joe. What is up, fellas? Happy Monday!
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
What's
know
up?
it's been a busy weekend for us all. We just
Oh,
heard some
man.
crazy story, and it looked like like a scene out of Jaws or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, Michael.
It's all good,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, a lot of people have. My daughter got bit by a dog a couple days ago, and long story short, had to go to the emergency room and then transferred to another hospital. But they got her stitched up, and probably take about 6 months. He said before I would do anything to that ear, as far as any kind of reconstructive surgery, let it heal as best as it can. But she's doing good, man. She's off at college. We got her off yesterday, and her and my oldest daughter, Rachel. So they're excited. They're getting ready for class. So all is good, man. Could have been a whole lot worse.
yeah, I mean, she's got an interesting story.
She got a
At
crazy
least,
story
and
and some gnarly pictures, man.
I think she could even make up a crazier story.
Yeah,
Like,
do
and
that.
it could be this crazy thing in college, like
Yeah.
people are just like getting to know you.
For sure.
I don't know if you want to know what happened to my ear,
That's right,
because
man.
I don't think you can handle that. Like she could just play it off like it's something even crazier, right?
So I met up with Mike Tyson this one time, and I just jokingly,
That's right.
The ear biting. Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
No,
doing good.
glad she's doing well,
Appreciate
and
it.
it's good to see you, Chana. I didn't think you were gonna make it today.
Yeah, he's
I
been busy.
know. I know. Aaron said that
Aaron.
he's very busy making videos for you guys. So yeah, I guess we can all have that excuse. So Aaron shouldn't have
Yeah,
any excuse. What
Yeah,
you doing over there, Aaron?
he's trying to get caught up, man. He's got a big load, and Joe, you got a bunch of products in right now.
I do.
A
Yeah,
lot,
truthfully, it does get a little bit stressful when you have all kinds of products and you should have had it out like last week or 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to try to do better at saying no, or at least letting the companies know.
Just say no, Joe.
Yeah,
Just say no.
Just say
Well, you
no.
know what? In all fairness, I do tell them, like, look, I have a ton of stuff right now. If you still want to send it to me,
Sure.
I'll get to it as soon as possible. So
I
that's
think
on
the
you.
hard thing is, I mean, we've got a lot of opportunities to review some really cool products, and it's hard to say, no, I don't want to check out your stuff, man. Of course we want to check it out, but
I
I
do.
know I've been in that position where I've got so much, then you just almost feel overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh man, and you're trying to bust through these things as quick as possible, but then you feel like you're not doing them justice and spending enough time with them and being thorough enough. So it's like it's a balance, but I'm trying to kind of say no to more stuff. And honestly, over the past couple of months, I've just been enjoying it more because I'm not so stressed out about so many things, and
I mean, I'm just waiting for new products to be released. I not to say I don't have a ton of stuff here to,
yeah,
to
you
deal
got
with.
your share too, man.
You got a few
Yeah.
things.
No,
Yeah, you got
for
did
sure.
you get the new what's the brand called? The players, the 4K.
Oh, I
players?
think it's Revon.
Revon.
I think it's Revon.
Okay.
They were supposed to show up today, but I'm checking UPS tracking right now, literally, and there's some delay. So
Is that
supposedly tomorrow.
be kind of like a Oppo clone kind of thing?
Pretty much. I mean, they kind of pretty much look exactly like. Even the back panels are like exactly like. So I'm gonna try and bust ass and do an unboxing of both players, because they sent me both the X100 and the X200.
Okay.
And then do a quick
What are those
comparison.
retail for roughly?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I think one of them could be $600 or $700, the X100, and the other one's 12 or
Close to
1300. I don't know. I actually just emailed them. I'm like, hey, I need some more details, because the players
Yeah,
are going to arrive tomorrow. I want to have a video up Wednesday. Where's the buy link? Because even like in the Facebook groups, like people are asking me,
Gotcha.
how do I buy this? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So
Look at
whatever.
We got this challenge earlier.
Yeah, I
Before we
saw
started,
that.
we got this challenge, and I said, "Do we get $5 if we
What
don't?"
if we don't say it?
Yeah, that's easy.
I think if we
You
all,
think you can
we
do
all
that?
get $5.
Easy.
I could easily do it.
$5 each.
Yeah,
I was like,
Easy.
You got a
$5
super
each.
chat by the end of the night if we don't bring it.
I
up.
got I need to run upstairs and grab a cocktail. It's been a long day at the DMV.
Oh yeah,
I'll
do
be
your
right
thing,
back.
bro.
I'll be right
Come-
back.
yeah.
Check this out. He says his eye service says Aaron's probably writing a review of Amir.
Oh, no.
Videos.
Okay, so speaking of that, that is actually my topic. I try not to like respond back on either Audio Science Review or on his, because like, sometimes I feel weird about like disagreeing with somebody on their platform, just because I feel like it's a little bit disrespectful sometimes, like we can talk about it here though. This is our platform.
Yeah.
And so, he made a hour-long video talking about, how to review speakers, and kind of like the way I took it is like he's saying like why his method is the best, or why he thinks it's the best. And I said, my comment there was, I agree 90 to 95% of what was said here. I mean, that's pretty good. Do we agree 90 to 95%? I don't know. Maybe like 85, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's a pretty high amount. And then the first comment was this guy who says, why would anybody care what you think? You did a test on Bose's direct reflecting speaker, and you only pointed the mic at Mike, spelled like you, mic at the woofer, and you're wondering why it sounded so bad because anyway.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to get in, I'm not interested in an argument,
Right, sure.
I thought, 90, 95% is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Argument?
high.
I'm down. What am I arguing?
Yeah, he's where was the comment here? So people know. Just in response to Amir's video. So he made a video that said reviewing speakers, measurement, and listening tests. Right? And so I watched the whole thing, an hour long, and like I said, I agree with most of the stuff, but what's the point? We're not going to talk about all the stuff we agree on.
Yeah.
But it's easier for me to talk about the stuff we don't necessarily agree on, right? Sure. So in one part, he says that, that our ears get used to bad sound. Like, how some people, I know what he's saying. Some people, they test some speakers, and then after a while, they're like, you know what? The speaker's broken, and I like them so much better now. Right? And what he's saying is like, yeah, your ears just got used to that sound. Right? And what he was trying to say was, he gets speakers in and out very quickly because he throws them on the clipboard, maybe a day or two, he gets them out, and he's kind of defending his position that, people are saying, oh, how could you possibly know in a day or two what a speaker sounds like?
Right.
And that's what he said, it's actually better because I listen to it real quick, and then that's it. I don't have that issue with getting used to the bad sound or good sound, whatever. My argument is, if that's true, if it's true that our ears get used to any speaker, then who cares then, right? Yeah. Just get any speaker, you'll get used to it. Yeah. And I don't really believe that that's true, because what does listening fatigue come from? Sometimes I'll listen to a speaker.
Little too much highs. Yeah.
Right. You'll listen to a speaker at first. You might think like, oh man, these are a little more detailed than I'm used to. Maybe these are good. And then you listen for a while, and you're like, that's not detailed. That's just too much treble, right? After you
too much trouble or too much treble. Oops, wrong one.
Wow.
So for me, it's not like we're listening for, well, maybe Chana, but I don't listen for hours and hours at a time. I'll listen, I'll walk away, I'll come back the next day after listening to my reference system, and I'll listen again, and I'll walk away, and I'll come back, after a few days. I think that's a little bit different, because our sense of anything, you get used to anything, right? So when you smell something for a certain amount of time, you get used to the smell and you don't smell it, right? Even like our eyes, right? Your eyes get used to that, when it goes into that night mode and your screen turns yellow, you get used to it. It doesn't look yellow anymore. So I think all of our senses do that, but the way to fix it is you step away. Step away and come back, and, then you start getting a different perspective, like, oh, okay. So anyway, my point being on that one, I don't agree that prolonged listening is detrimental to a review, right? I think the more you can go back to it after listening to other speakers too, that's helpful. What do you guys think about that?
Definitely, 100%.
To me, I think it's because I've seen several videos, probably even over the past couple of weeks, that are kind of making comments about just other people that they see in this space. And what I find it funny is the fact that they feel that, their way is better. I could care less how somebody else reviews a speaker or an amplifier. I'm not going to watch somebody's video and go, oh, he's dumb because he does it this way. Dude, it's your channel. You do it however you want to do it. You have a relationship with your audience, just like I've got a relationship with mine. I have a way of doing videos and my style. It might be different than yours, but unless I'm just putting out absolute incorrect information, my way is different. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it's funny that it's this almost like an elitist kind of mentality that I'm better than you kind of deal. And it's like, whatever, you know, and I'm okay with that. You know, if you want to think that you're better, go for it, man. What? I'm being
Reginald, you're bad.
Yes, it's true. You get used to that ugly woman in bed with you. LOL.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I married a gorgeous woman. And
So that's not. I have no idea about any of that. But so another thing that he's saying is like reviewing numerous speakers side by side. Like he talks about how JBL in their listening room, it rotates through the different speakers, and that is he kind of made it sound like that's the only way to do it properly. And I get like, you know, the comparative listening, but to me it's kind of like that. Isn't that what we're doing? Like when you change out your speakers and you kind of listen to the same tracks over and over, right? I do. For me, like he says, like he uses EQ, so he EQs it and then goes back and forth. But that's pretty easy for me to do. Like I turn Dirac on and off. I mean, it's not like we're not doing that. No. You know, how easy is that to do to just turn the EQ on and off? That, you know. So anyway, I think my point is like I think a lot of us do that. It's not just him that's doing that. But yeah, to me, listening to different speakers in the same listening area, sometimes I'll have them both side by side and I'll go back and forth between the two. It's not blind, but you know. So
you can definitely tell like differences for sure. 100%. And I know like exactly what all these speakers sound like. Even the Klipsch RF73s and the RP280s that I've gotten rid of like years ago, I still know what they sound like. I still know what I had to do to my equipment to make them sound good. Yeah. Right. I know on these tracks, I gotta bring the treble down 2 notches. You know, otherwise coming into that third hour, that like really harshy, like it's like something's coming at me. You know, in the highs there. So yeah, I know exactly what I had to do, and for all these speakers, and that's why I'm like, I was surprised that those Polk floor standing speakers, they got more bass than those. Than those new ELACs. You know, and it's just like, wow, dude, the price disparity on these things is insane. So
what do you think, Michael, on that? Like, you know, comparing speakers side by side. Now that you can hear yourself on your mic and you.
Yeah. So one thing that's hard with comparing speakers is, and I've always wondered this, is you do have time, especially. All right. So the first thing is, let's say you have 2 sets of speakers. Well, if you put a set of speakers on the outside and a set of speakers on the inside, technically they're in different positions, you know, so there could be a difference there. Soundstage could be totally different. The way it's interacting with your room could be totally different. Some people choose to alternate them. So you do like A, B, and then what, A, B? So they're, you know, side by side.
So they're equidistant apart.
Yeah. And then you'd have to kind of like, I guess, scoot over to get in the, you know, depending on which set of speakers you're listening to.
Luckily, I don't have enough room, so I don't have that problem.
Well, you know,
I have to move the speakers. You know,
the truth is really this, right? After reviewing so many speakers, we get the opportunity to review so many speakers, and the truth is, there's some difference that are just so obvious that it's almost not even. It doesn't matter where you put them. Like this is an obvious difference. Right? Somebody told me on my HomePod review, like I compared them with bookshelf speakers, like, oh, it wasn't a blind test. I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's blind test or not. This is so obvious. Maybe some of the more intricate stuff.
You can't hear that.
You should for the, you know, for the stuff that's where it's close. Some stuff is not even close, right? So why would I waste my time, right? A lot of it is trying to be efficient with your time. And then he also said that hold on, let's see. Listening subjectively and looking at objective measure is so he talks a lot about training your ears, like how trained listeners do a better job of analyzing. But he also says that, you know, that subjective listening is not very useful you know? And I'm thinking, all right, so my process is this. I listen first, right? I listen first because I don't like, when I see something in the measurements, it really starts making me focus in on that. So that gets, selective, what is that? Selective, whatever it's
Listening.
Well,
called.
you've already kind of got a
Selective listening,
preconceived
but,
notion of what these are going to sound like.
Yeah, you kind of have, so I try not to do that, right? But, so I'll listen first and then I'll do measurements also. But that's what I'm doing. I'm training to make sure that what I'm hearing is lining up with the measurements. So doing this all the time, you start getting to know, like, oh, okay, I was wrong on that. It was actually this frequency. So that is a sense of training, right? You know what I'm talking about, right, Chana? When you're constantly trying to figure out, when you're producing music, for example.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that, I mean, like, I've been doing this for decades now, where it's just like listening to the same song over and over. Okay, I think the hi-hat's a little too hot over here in the chorus. Bring that down. Okay, now there's not enough hi-hat in the verse. So it's kind of like, hearing it, sitting here in my studio, closing my eyes, listening to it again, being like, it's these details I try not to get hung up on, but as a music producer, because once it leaves my hand and goes to my mastering engineer, I need to make sure it's at a certain level, right? Everything is at a certain level for each track before I send it to him, because he's going to bounce back and be like, hey man, I need this here. I need that here. Whether that's panning, whether he's like, there's too much clutter in the center of the mix. Right. I have to go back and change things. So I try to do as much as I can before, because I don't want to waste his time, because then he charges me more, Well,
my point just being, when you're producing music, if you're not accurate, if you don't know which frequencies, which sliders to touch, right, then you're just going to be messing around with, like, well, I don't know, the wrong ones, right? If there's an issue, you should be able to go directly to the ones you need to get. So my whole point is, other people are doing some sort of training. It's not just you, right? It's not just one person that's in the world doing it. We're constantly, if this is your profession, you should try to get better, right? In whatever way. Rocky's training in the mountains and Drago's doing a different type of training. So, they're all training, right?
So, what I used to do for ear training, and I do this, there's a software that helps you learn how to do subtractive synthesis, right? Using a synthesizer. So it's an app. Basically what it does is it gives you a certain amount of controls. Obviously the beginning lessons, they give you like 3 or 4 controls, but when you get into the advanced, they give you like 15 controls, and they play a sound, do, and you have to move the sliders to get the exact matching sound. And in the beginning to like the middle of the course, ezy for me. Once we get into like 20 controls, now I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like,
which one?
Because
what frequency range needs adjusting? Yeah.
Well, so there's a few different ways to get the same sound, and so what you're trying to listen for is like, okay, how is the envelope affecting the sound? It's the attacks coming in hard or strong, and then it's going to drop a little, so there's a little bit of decay, and then it does sustain quite a bit, and then the roll off or the tails just cut off real quick. So you have
next
to,
level, bro. That's next level.
Yeah.
You're on a whole. That's a different. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out which frequencies are which.
That's Chana DJ stuff right there.
So and basically like that. That's actually one of the ways. Like when I was at Musicians Institute and I was going through my guitar improvisation class to learn how to solo and stuff. They're like, think of the sound in your mind, and then find it on the guitar neck. And I was just like, oh. And then he's like, sing it out in your mind, the melody you want, and then find out where the notes are, so you'll know which part of the guitar neck those notes lie. And then from there, after doing that for months on end, then you're like, oh, you hear something, you're like, oh, they're playing up here, or the notes are up here in this frequency range.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I used to sit in front of the TV and just I don't know what, like whatever TV commercial was on, I would use the third string to figure out what key they're in, and then just start soloing over that, because I don't know what because I was trying to train my ear to like recognize the key of whatever random music just happens to be on. So there's a bunch of different ways to train your ears on, where those frequencies lie through, through an instrument or whatever, it happens to be.
Yeah. Just jokingly, sometimes I made a video where I pretended like I just drew out the frequency response after listening to the speaker. But just, it's good practice, actually. You listen to a speaker, try to draw out the frequency response and see how close you are to the actual measured.
You're like, here's the frequency response.
Just close your eyes. But sometimes it's like, oh, that's pretty close, but this is not at this range. It's over here. Right. So it's good practice to do that. It's weird, but it's something, if you're a reviewer, I think is useful. Another thing that he said was that subjective listening. So he was talking about how, again, subjective listening. He wasn't a big fan of how Aaron kind of does a subjective listening. I think he said him specifically, so that's why I'm saying that he listened to subjective and then he does a measurement, and he thought that was kind of useless to do that. And to me, the subjective part is not useless because the measurements, although I like I'm saying 90-95% I agree, very useful, right? The measurements are very useful, but to a lot of people, they don't understand what the measurements mean.
No.
And we're not robots, okay? So we're humans, and I think a lot of these folks are, if they're entering the hobby, if you say, all right, well, it has this thing at 3 kilohertz, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? I don't know. If you don't have experience, you don't know what that means, right? So again, we're here to teach people, and so, he was even saying a lot of people aren't trained. So when you say 3 kilohertz, then what? What does that mean? If Michael says, hey, my subs go down to 10 hertz, what does that mean? Right. These people don't know. But if you say it goes down to 10 hertz, stuff shakes in my other room, but I can't really hear anything. But stuff is shaking like crazy. Okay, well, that's something you can relate to. Chana says my wine glasses are shaking.
Got the wine glasses, that's right.
It's a way to relate your experience.
Reference.
That's the whole point, is to relate what you're hearing. And, it could be what's being measured too. It's about relatability. It's not about like that it's more important or less important. It's about they go together, right? I think that those two go together. So anyway, I have a few more things. I wrote down my notes because I didn't want to. So that's the thing. We're human beings. Our whole point is to relate our experiences. And then the other thing is that I think that different reviewers have their own strengths and weaknesses, right? What one guy does is probably, I'm not the best at everything. I'm pretty good at a lot of things, I think. I try to... No, he doesn't think.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I think I'm good at the things that I think are important to me. Right?
Yeah. Angela. Amir's too busy trying to see who has a bigger clipple.
Yeah. So...
It's a clipple measuring contest. Get it?
I think the whole point is to try to learn from others, right? So a lot of times, like, I'll learn from Michael or Chana in the way that they're doing things, right? Chana is, sometimes I give some advice, about like some camera or whatever tricks, right? So we're all learning from each other. It's not like, yes, I talk to Aaron when it comes to something like clipple related or something very technical. I don't have to be the best at every single one, and I don't have to be the go-to source. I don't think
you can be. There's this one song, everything to everyone. You can't. You just can't be that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's fine to take from different, places. He also said like, the reviewers, like reviewers in general. I don't think he's speaking to me, but maybe some of these other guys who do some nice B-roll. I don't want to say specifics, but some people do nice looking videos, and he said maybe they should just stick to just the features. Like, just talk about the features because they do a great job of that. But are they supposed to just talk about the features and not talk about how it sounded? Like, are they not going to talk about the sound at all? Like, what do you do?
You can get that from their website.
You talk about the features and then what? I mean, like, for example, Monolith sub, we both have this Monolith sub, right? I'm not going to do the CEA 2010 measurements outside, but Audioholics did, right? Who was it? James Larson did those measurements. So in my video, I'm planning on saying, if you want more detail, go check out that review. That's no problem to me. I don't want to do it.
I think the thing is, though, is that we're not scared to say, Chana's got a video on that. Go check it out. Or somebody else on this platform. I think
if you want to know more.
I think too many people look at this as like this competition thing, where they are comparing meter sticks.
Yeah.
I could care less about your meter stick. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well,
to me, it's like if you've got a video on it and
Mhm.
I'm not doing a video on it, I'm going to point people to you. I've done
Yeah.
that all the past 3.5 years, and I'm totally cool with that.
And real quick, so Kanga says, "Is this reaction audio show?" No. Well, this is a reaction to what he said specifically about other reviewers. So I am another reviewer. He probably wasn't talking about me specifically, but I think I'm allowed to comment on a topic. So this is a topic of discussion, and I'm not. It could have been anybody else. It doesn't have to be him. But yeah, like I said, I agree with 95% of what he said in that video. It's just that some of the other things I think is good to discuss. I mean, if he wants to call me up and discuss this, then I could be wrong too. That's fine.
I do like Reginald's comment here. You can never contemplate the sound of a component by using only test tones. You must be able to listen to the complex timbres of each individual instrument. I would imagine that means just listening to music in general, as opposed to just because who's going to do that? I mean, yes, we'll do that. But
sometimes.
Yeah, I know. And we totally know because Gracie, your daughter, is like, I need to test something. She's making the sounds, which is hilarious. But
my whole point. So not to cut you off, Jana, sorry, but my whole point is not. My whole point is, you don't have to be right or wrong, right? It's okay to have different ways to do things, right? Aaron, Amir, they're great at taking the measurements and showing you all kinds of stuff that we didn't have access to before. Yeah. I'm 100% for that, right? Some other guys are really good at telling a good story and getting you interested in a product, and some people are great at B-roll. It's all fine, right? There's room for everybody. You don't have to say, my goal always has been to bring myself up, but not have to step on anybody on the way up, right? I'm not stepping on heads to bring myself up. I don't think that's not my approach. Right. I think the whole point is, let's bring everybody up, right? Yeah, right. I love what he's doing. I love all this stuff. There's more than enough. This is a fun hobby. Life is good. Life is good. Yeah. Don't worry about that stuff too much.
You got it.
Anyway, that's it. Matthew Hilty has a nice little fun little comment. So if measurements are always better than subjective listening tests, what about frequency is emotional? What frequency range is fun? Is there probably stuff we can't measure yet? And oddly enough, there are. If you search on YouTube, there are different frequencies that do give people different feelings, and they've tested all this stuff. Yeah,
but the speaker doesn't. But the speaker doesn't generate that. The music does, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it's content.
The people who make it, right? That's who's supposed to do it, not the speaker itself.
Yeah.
So the speaker's supposed to just. It just does. You don't want it to get in the way, right? We just want to be good at it.
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't want it to come off as like something negative or anything like that, because I've had Amir on, and I've had him on twice. I had him at the HiFi Summit. I invited him, and I have no issue. I have no issue with him. So it's more like, if you can't discuss topics, what are we doing? Yeah. We can't disagree on certain things. I have to agree 100%. I don't even agree 100% with my wife. So I probably don't even agree 100% with myself sometimes.
I was just about to say that. I don't think I do sometimes with me.
Yeah. So anyway.
And again, I think it's one of those things where, like, I know from the very beginning, I've never tried to come across as, the authority on home theater. I'm simply sharing my experiences really from a consumer's perspective. When I review things, I look at things as if, okay, what would I be interested? What are the things that I would want to know as a consumer, And so that's kind of the approach that I take. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know, and I don't care. That's just who I am and how I like to do my reviews, And you're going to review different. Chana, Aaron, Amir, Gene, all of us. We have a different perspective. We have different experiences, and so I'm cool with all of them. So
yeah, I don't mind. I think there's room for everybody. Anyway, I just don't like it when people try to say like my way.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the highway.
Yeah. And then you start getting like people fighting over weird stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
not worth it.
I know one of the controversial things is the whole like speaker break-in thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like people will ask, oh, well, there was this one guy who was just like, oh, well, you probably didn't break in those ELACs because there's plenty of bass. And I was just like, oh, no, I set up the speakers and I put them, because they're not in I don't have a theater room. Right. They're in our living room. And so my wife and kid, dude, 7, 8, 9 hours a day, those things get used and I wait a week and then I start listening. So whether I think it's an absolute BS. I think speaker is going to be a speaker, whether you start. Have you guys? I remember when I was buying my S4, this whole thing about break-in period, right? Like, oh, you got to like baby the car. Don't go above 4,000 RPMs. It's a V6, 340 horsepower V8. Sorry, a 6-speed manual, not a V6 V8. Silly. A 6-speed manual V8. So I wanted to get, the most amount of like, power out of it. And then have you guys heard of the Moto Man break-in? This is meant for like motorcycles, right?
Okay.
And so in this forum, this Moto Man GP forum, whatever, this guy, he's saying that you need to, in the first 15 to 20 miles of that engine, you need to get it up to red line and then let it off so it engine brakes so the pistons can fire all the way 100%. So the seats, so the rings inside that section of the motor can seat properly. And that way you'll get the most amount of power and a longer longevity or longer life of the engine, right? So I was just like, okay. And there's like, break in the speaker, don't break in the speaker, break in the engine, don't break in, don't drive it hard, fucking do it. Get in there and go. Like the only reason I put the speakers up there and just don't do anything for a week is to appease all the other people that are like, oh, well, you didn't break in the speakers. Actually, my wife and the kid did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
By the way, speaking on the car thing, the old, I don't know if it was on my version of the M3, but the old M3, they wouldn't let you get to full power. Like it would be like 100 or 200 horsepower less until like it broke in or whatever, and then you'd have to go and take it in for an oil change, and then they would unlock the rest of the power. So I don't know. I don't know the details of.
I would just say just play the damn speakers and then go and then move on. But there are a lot of people that are very finicky. Oh, well, you didn't take these 3 steps before you did your review, so this review means nothing to me. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, buddy.
It means nothing.
Anyway, it means absolutely nothing. Yeah. Anyway,
that's all I got. What do you guys got? What do you guys got?
I want to show you guys some stuff. Because I DJ'd a wedding, and sometimes you'll find the most simplest things can be the best solution for multiple things. So as you can see, I'm out here on the lake. This was a lakeside situation, and you notice this sheet right here.
It's like a dead body under there. What do you got in there,
dude? It was all dead equipment. At an hour into setup, all the equipment on my facade here overheated.
Oh wow!
Music stopped. Everything stopped. Yeah, my stuff
from the
overheated.
Heat?
Just from it sitting there.
Yikes!
And so I'm like, oh crap. So I moved everything inside, anything that was sensitive, right? That has some sort of computer board in it. The little mixer, even that little Mackie mixer, my controller, even the my laptop. So I have a TV and the laptop is displaying like the custom logo and stuff on the front. Even the laptop was overheating, would not work. It wouldn't show it. Nothing was happening. So I moved everything inside, and then we went to the other location where the ceremony was at. Guess what happened there? Yeah, it started raining. So thank goodness I put the sheet on here because all the power cables would have gotten wet.
Oh, wow.
And then when I got back to this location, it was constantly either drizzling or sunny to the point where it was going to overheat something. So sometimes the easiest solution is some random piece of cloth.
Where was that cloth? You had it or?
No,
this is
at the venue.
The lady, the coordinator, had a couple of sheets in her car, and I'm like, yeah, give me one.
What is that?
So, we don't want to know.
Are those Martin Logans in the back right there, Chana?
No, these are QSCs.
No, I'm just joking. The heater.
Oh,
over to the right.
Oh. I get it. You're talking about this guy, the space heater. Yeah. No. So, another thing I wanted to show you guys, because a lot of people ask me about monoprice cables and why, and they ask me why I don't use them, because after 2 to 3 years, they've failed. And so that's just my experience. So I use these HOSA cables predominantly when I am doing any kind of live event. I've had them for 6 years now, and none of them have ever failed.
So you get a lot of use out of them. I mean, like you're.
I am like wrecking them. They are getting wound up. They get stuck into box. Sometimes I don't empty my car, so it's hot as shit. Like today, it was 110 degrees out in Bishop. You know, box of cables was in the car, so they're still getting hot. And then when I put it in my storage unit and it's winter, there's no like it'll get down to like single digits. So it'll get cold. So they do go through like a whole lot of I guess wear and tear, I guess. Yeah.
Angela said, why don't you have an easy up canopy?
Dude, I do. There's just no room for that. Also, if I need to bring that, I can't bring that with all my equipment, in which case I'm gonna need another trip, which means I need to charge an extra $200 to $400 for that.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, and actually
figure it out.
Yeah, what the messed up part is on that deck, there is a shaded part with a natural shade with all these trees around it. And that's where I'm usually at. But apparently the food person wanted the food in that area. And I'm like, oh, great. Oh, I can't argue with that. You know, people got to get fed.
Food versus music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, although, I got a tip from them. And like, at the end of the night, I was talking to the bride and groom. I was just like, hey, you guys, congratulations. And the bride was like, oh my God, Chada, you were so awesome. Your mixes were awesome. Transitions were great. I was just like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, that's cool. And then all of a sudden I was just like, oh, right. The husband's a DJ. He's like, because he was like, he's like, yeah, man, I'm so glad I didn't have to DJ. And you did a fantastic job. So thank you so much. So
he was like, but around 3K, it was a little hot, man. You got to,
it was a little hot. Yeah. I'm like,
you got to EQ that out a little bit.
That's those horns. That's those. Actually, you know what's funny? Is it on this picture? Because I actually do turn down the treble 2 notches because the QSCs are a little bright due to the horns. And if you're in a smaller area, it's definitely noticeable. Definitely noticeable. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
It's always good to hear your stories about being on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a different perspective altogether, right?
Well, think
because you're
about
out there, you're playing music for other people to enjoy.
And even the stuff that you're doing on the DJ side, I mean, that still translates to what we do here on YouTube. You know, it's about listening. It's about proper setup. I saw a comment. Where was it out right here? So this is a good comment. You know, most people don't even set up their speakers correctly. That's probably a bigger deal than break-in. You know,
imagine doing that. Like I do that every week when I set up in a new location, right? So like this week's wedding was supposed to be indoors. Now it's outdoors. So now I have to change my setup just because of that. And then to make sure, like, even though we're outdoors, if there's a wall protruding in front of the speaker, what's going to happen? The sound's going to bounce off that and come right back at us. So I have to make sure that nonsense isn't happening as much as possible. There's some stuff that obviously I can't avoid.
We need some Danley speakers for outside, man. That'd be sweet.
Nah, man. QSC all the way. Those things are awesome, and they got a 6-year warranty. So if the amp breaks down, boom, send it in. They'll send you a brand new one.
Is it powered? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Nice.
What if you went and like you EQ'd everything, like sound all perfect in the listening area? Like you guys got to stay within this area here. Don't move.
Right, don't walk around too
got
much.
you.
Don't
I got
get
you right
drunk
there.
and walk off to the side.
If you guys are in this one spot on the dance floor, you're awesome. You're perfect. Which is why, like, always I see these pictures of these awesome speakers and like one chair. I'm like, man, audiophile's life is super lonely. Like, you know,
they don't dance, they don't get up, because once you get up, it messes up your whole experience. So it's interesting because you're playing music. This is what the whole thing is about, for enjoyment, right? The whole point is to get people to dance and have fun and have a great time. Isn't that the goal? Isn't that the whole point?
I mean, that's my job. I actually work audio as well, right? So I did have a couple of things to
let's go
talk about, to share. Okay, first thing, I was talking to Joe about it. Wu-Tang: An American Saga on Hulu. All right, hold on. Let's
tell me about this.
On Hulu. If you guys ever liked Wu-Tang Clan, you need to watch.
It's like a documentary, I guess.
It's like a docudrama, I guess, because it's like what do you call it? the RZA and Method Man, they're like executive producers. So this is trying to like paint a picture of like what was happening when they started. And one of the things that's interesting was there's just a bunch of beef. Everybody was beefing. Some people were cool. Huh. Some people, yeah. So Raekwon the chef and Ghostface Killah had some crazy beef. Raekwon went over to Ghostface Killah's house and shot it all up. Wow. And Ghostface Killah's got 2 crippled brothers, and his mom, they were all there. So like the majority of this thing is their beef.
What?
Like, and we don't even know.
Is this real?
Yeah.
I mean, real?
I think it's real with them actually writing the stuff.
So if we want to be successful, you gotta go shoot up somebody, like one of my house. Maybe,
no, but here's the thing. If you look at the Ghostface Killah album, right, Iron Man, who's standing right next to him? Raekwon the chef. So clearly they put their beef aside to do this thing that was bigger than all of them, right? Yeah. So really cool, and just really awesome how like they had individuals had record deals. Yeah. You know, and I don't want to give it away a whole lot, but like,
so that's an awesome one, huh?
That's cool. Dude, we binged it from like Thursday night until like we finished it last night because obviously I couldn't, watch anything after the wedding, but yeah, definitely. Definitely if you guys like hip hop and if you ever liked Wu-Tang Clan, and you have 36 Chambers, definitely check out this show on Hulu. It's Wu-Tang, an American Saga. There's 10 episodes. I think they're trying to do a season 2. Don't know yet.
Nice. Very cool.
So that's
I will check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, because I texted Joe. I was just like, dude, you got to see this shit. Like this, you're gonna love it. You are gonna love it. Next thing is compare via prices or compare via specs. If you've seen in my video on the Denon versus Marantz video, I took the Denon 6700H and compared it to the Marantz SR 7015, and I got a lot of comments from people saying, well, aren't you supposed to compare the 6700 with the SR 8015 because those have the same specs, right? And purely and here's the way I review things, right? From a standpoint of a consumer, I'm not going to be like, okay, I got $2,500 for this receiver. What else is out there? Oh, well, there's this one for $800 more. And I'll be like, well, why am I even looking at that? Yeah. Right. So that didn't make any sense to me. Yeah. Right. And when Joe, when you review speakers, don't you keep it kind of in this price range?
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for a $500 a pair, ELAC or Klipsch or.
Well, you called me. You called me and we talked about this specifically. I was driving, right? Yeah. And I think what was my response? I think I just said somebody's going to buy the Marantz, is looking for Marantz, is going to buy Marantz, right? Mm-hmm. They're looking for Marantz, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy who's looking for just something in this price range, $800 is huge. Yeah. It's a huge, unless...
It's almost $1,000, yeah.
Unless they get a Youth Man deal, right?
Right.
Well, it's usually a Chana deal, actually, when you're buying. And you get a deal, and you're about to buy a Denon, and then, there's a Marantz, for the same price.
A Marantz from last year, or whatever pops up that,
But I get what you're saying. They know that, right? Sound United knows. They price it like that. They know that the features are about the same on these models, but some people want Marantz, right?
I've run into the same thing on my channel. I think you can do both. I think there are times that I've reviewed things and compared things that were way different in price, but let's say they were both 15-inch subwoofers, and to me, what that shows you, okay, what can you get, or do you get anything by spending an extra $1,000 and they're both 15-inch subwoofers? What is your money paying for, kind of thing. But then also there have been times where I've had something very similar in price, and but people will complain about that. They're like, okay, yeah, they're both same price, but you're comparing a 15-inch subwoofer to a 12-inch subwoofer. That's not fair. Well, yeah, it is fair because, like you said, some people are on a budget and they're looking at what can I get with that amount. And so maybe the 15-inch, you get more output, more excursion, whatever, with the same amount of money. So I think there are times where either one of those would be applicable.
Well, you're talking from the same amount of money. So again, we're back to price, right?
Right.
Whereas I think what's happened is people have been used to comparing spec versus spec, because who does that? Because the manufacturer does that.
Sure.
And the salespeople do that.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Because they want to train the consumer. Oh, well, this costs more. You get the same stuff. It just costs more. Right? And some people are like, well, why would I want to pay $800 more for the same thing?
Yeah.
Right. I know someone was like, hey, well, none of these sound good. You got to get an RCAM or an Anthem or an NAD or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, you can put those in the comparison. Sure. Yeah. But we wouldn't be comparing the Denon 6700 or the Marantz 7015 to the Anthem 1140 at $3,500 because it's $1,000 more. We'd be comparing it to the 740, which is $2,500. Coincidentally, Anthem just raised their prices by $1,000 for the 1140, so it's now $3,500.
Wow!
So if you guys didn't think inflation was happening or these shipping delays and this,
it's happening across the board, man. We're seeing
across the board, prices are going up. It's one of those things because I know, Mike, you are someone that you want to pay for something, you're gonna pay that much, right? Like you're trying to help your daughter or whomever, son, trying to find a car. Yeah, okay, $15,000. Yeah, $15,000 is what we're gonna look at. So you'll have some 14,000 options, 15,000, maybe a 16,000, but you're not gonna toss in a 23,000 or a 25,000. Like that's stupid. But in audio and electronics, they do that shit all the time. Like why? Like, and people just fall for it. And here's what I want to say: don't fucking fall for it, man. Okay, don't. Oh, the new Onkyo has got Direct Live, 9 channels. For Atmos, and it's $1,100. Okay, cool. So for comparing to specs, NAD T778 9-channel Direct Live $3,000. Who's gonna ever put those two in comparison to purchase? Nobody. Yeah. And this is why you guys got to stop. Get that shit out of your head. And you as a consumer, because it's your money. Yeah. They don't give a shit what you buy. These companies, as long as you keep buying their shit, that's it. Right. And they're going to find some way to, get you to buy something in the next 2 to 3 years. Just you wait and see. This is what happens all the time. I see this all the time. And it's just a trend because they got to make money. This is what they're going to do.
They're trying to last. Huh? They're trying to last in this game, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know for sure, 100%. AV receivers are the caboose end of the technological train. Like any kind of new advancement, it'll happen in AV receivers last because that's just the way it works because they're just so slow to get things out. And you saw what happened with Denon Marantz Yamaha last year. They wanted to be the first to have 8K and HDMI 2.1. What the fuck happened? That shit got fucked up. So now Pioneer, Onkyo, and a couple other manufacturers are going to capitalize on this situation this year. If they can ever get this stuff out. So it's supposed to come out in June. Now it's like October, November for these new receivers.
What are the chances that Sound United comes out with AVR that looks different? What do you think? Like next year, different look to it.
Something completely. That doesn't have 2 knobs and a center display and center controls. I don't know, man.
And maybe an upgraded display. That's what they need, an upgrade on that display.
Well, I asked them that. That was one of my comments on it. I'm like, man, I love this, but can we get something just somewhat different? Man, I like the style of Marantz. And their reply was really, this is who we are. We're not. We don't plan on getting rid of the porthole. I'm dead serious. They don't plan on getting rid of the porthole. It's like that's part of
time.
Like
somebody commented too. That's like the Marantz submarine. Yeah, I started laughing.
It's actually going to be it would actually be a cheap upgrade if they kept almost everything the same but made it like a cool touchscreen on the front.
Oh, dude,
that's a cheap upgrade.
Do you know how many times like Audi does a facelift? They'll have a car in production for 7 or 8 years in that body style, but they'll do a mid-cycle refresh and they'll change the front bumper and rear bumper, right? That's it. Yeah. Easy.
This is a little look. Yeah. Oh, we got some super chats. Let's not ignore those. Oh, we got Chris Wyndham.
Anything new show up at Armand? I mean, if they have it, yeah. I mean, of course they're gonna have new stuff. I mean, everybody wants to show off their new stuff. I was, heading up to Cedia. Talking with brands, they're like, hey, Michael, we got some cool stuff, man. We want you to cover it. I'm like, man, I'm down. Let's do it. And then now a lot of them are backing out. I mean, a lot of companies are backing out of Cedia. So, Yeah, I think
So
definitely
hopefully-
there'll be a lot of stuff at our app. If, like I said, if they have it.
HiFi Summit. Let's make it happen. If these are gonna be canceled, and I hope they're not. Actually, I hope they're not canceled. I hope I don't wish that on any show or anything like that. But if they have new products that they're not gonna be able to show, hopefully they'll do something at the HiFi Summit to show something, right?
I think I have an appointment with Mantle Mount. They got something cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey,
I was just like, I love your guys' products. I don't own one at all, but I think it's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. If anybody needs to mount a TV above their fireplace, probably the best option.
That's the one that drops down, right?
Yeah, you can. They have like a full
Pretty
motorized one, or like
Pretty
you
cool.
can just pull it down, so you're not doing this whole neck up thing.
Yeah.
so we have this one. Chris also says quality of THX approved products. You know what? I don't know what the specs are, right? So I don't think anybody really knows what it means to be THX certified. They don't tell the manufacturers either. But I do know that that's a level of certification.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least it's not going to be pure garbage. Like if it has that stamp, I don't know what it means exactly.
Sure.
But for the most part, it's not going to be trash.
I think the key to remembering on the THX certification is that you can have a product that meets or exceeds those THX levels, but they just chose not to pay the licensing fee to get that stamp of approval.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, in one way, it does mean something for those that chose to do that because they met that, but it does not mean that, another brand or another line or another product that doesn't have that doesn't meet those standards, if that makes sense.
Correct. I agree with that. Yeah, and I when we talked to Hobie about it on the monolith stuff, because it all says THX everywhere, right?
Well, he chose to do it because they're trying to break into this market.
Correct,
and so they have to, that's a way for them to show credibility. Same thing's happening with Perlisten. Perlisten, nobody's heard of Perlisten because they're a brand new company. They come out with a THX Dominus. So that's a certification that Hobie tried to get with the, I think the M215. He wasn't able to achieve that. Perlisten comes out of the gate being able to hit those levels and hit that performance. That says something. Okay. I may not know who Perlisten is, but they've got that stamp of approval on the Mac Daddy level that nobody else has been able to do. That says something. So
yeah,
I think there is some merit there, but yeah, I wouldn't not buy something just because it wasn't THX certified. So
right.
Chris got another question. Right? Yeah, what's the other speaker company that does THX? And I know, Perlisten.
Onkyo used to do it.
Oh yeah, their home theater in the box had a little home.
Onkyo used to be.
Actually, Onkyo AVRs do THX because I was just looking at them today while I was at the DMB. Yeah, but as far as speakers are concerned, I know Miller and Kreisel. I don't know how you pronounce it, but M&K.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
really.
He
does
company.
THX. They've been doing it since I started this journey like back in the 90s.
I wonder if it has anything to do with frequency response, because I know I'm guessing it has to do with loudness.
Klipsch, is that a Klipsch THX? Klipsch does THX.
No way.
Speakers?
Yeah, dude. These are my little Star Wars edition little bookshelf speakers.
They just saying thanks.
Yeah,
Klipsch, thanks.
Hey, send me some money.
Thank you.
Yamaha was the first. Klipsch has a THX home theater setup. Tim Perry says, "Yep."
There's quite a few. Monolith has their THX reference series speakers. Well, I say reference series, but they've got their THX line. Yeah, so there's quite a
different
few
levels too, right? So
Correct.
I'm sure
there's THX Select. There's THX.
Those aren't Dominus certified. Those desktop ones you have there.
These are the THX Minimus.
That was a good one. All right.
Oh man,
that's why we do this.
Too much.
That made my day. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. They don't work though, so I got to replace them with these Boston.
They don't work.
No, they don't, dude.
So now is it thanks, Klipsch. These don't work.
Because you didn't send me any money, I'm gonna tell everybody they stopped working after 10 years. So
10 years.
10 years.
I got good use out of them. But yeah, they're not really working. So I bought some old school. Also, here's what I'll show you. Oh, hang on.
this.
All right, what are we looking at here?
So I bought these off of eBay. Now these are old school Boston Acoustics computer speakers. So they come with a subwoofer, and then they've got the the 3 volume and probably, I think, bass and treble on the other satellite.
Right.
But the reason why I got these, like I said, these broke, but these are the speakers that came with the gateway speakers. I mean, the gateway computers back in the. Do you remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's how old these are. But I'm not really finding really good small speakers like this. I mean, I know you can get like the ELACs. I know you can get, some of these bigger bookshelves. I just don't have the physical room at this desk. So I wanted something small and compact. So man, I went super old school, man. These things are probably at least 10 years old, but they sound great.
Well, what kind of deal did you get on them?
I think I paid like $50.
$50. All right.
Yeah, shipped. So, well, the crazy thing is everybody else wanted like 100, 120. And I'm like, y'all are smoking crack, because that's like an old speaker. And so I just patiently waited it out and got a youth man deal on them. So yeah.
Does it come with a sub?
It does.
Yeah, it's called your chest.
Let's see this.
You got to make the bass.
Oh, you picked it up with one hand.
Talk about a SB 3000 micro.
Dang.
Or I guess it would be a PV 3000.
So yeah, man, I'm excited to get those set up, but just gotta take some time to get this desk moved out, because it's like a big credenza desk. So I've got to move the whole thing away and get it set up. But
interesting.
So that's my new toys.
Can we have Phil on one? You know what? We haven't had Phil on in a while. If we're talking about the same Phil,
it's been about a year.
Phil Jones.
I miss
He's
Phil,
got a
man.
lot going on.
I know he does.
I talked to him a week ago, and
I love talking to Phil.
Is he still doing his projector thing?
Yeah, dude. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. He's got a lot going on, and then he's in charge of getting the theater at the headquarters of Sound United done, and they are going crazy since they got B&W. So it's all a full B&W like setup with these crazy BMWs and like the amplification for those nuts. So like he sent me the equipment rack shots, and he's like, now I just got to cable it.
I'm a little upset because we went to Legoland, which is like the same exit. Like I didn't know. I should have thought Legoland for the kids, and then afterwards I'm going to Sound United to go do a tour. But I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He keeps inviting me down there. I'm like, man, I'm just not in San Diego area, and then Joe's closer.
Still quite a drive though, not that fast. But maybe another reason to go to Legoland.
So y'all are funny, man. If Phil said, "Hey, Michael, come check this out," man, I'd jump on a plane. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, traffic is like traffic. I thought you were gonna say you just drive over, but
no,
a 45-minute drive turns into like a 3-hour drive real quick. Got to go at the right time. But yeah, no, I definitely do want to do that. We've talked about maybe going over there and doing some kind of. I invented this new thing, Michael. It's like a tour, like a theater tour. I'm gonna walk around probably on a gimbal.
Hit it, man.
And I'll do a tour of the place. I've invented it, so
hit it, man.
Nobody's ever done it.
You invented it,
man. I would totally do that. Heartbeat.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the idea. Maybe one day if people are interested in that. Maybe once they're all set up, because I think they're still setting stuff up too. For
sure. No, see, so that's probably a no-go for Sound United. So at least the word that I've been getting. So a lot of main companies, Sony's backed out.
Oh man. I mean, it's just gonna be like me, Mike, and Ike hanging out.
Yeah,
like, that's all gonna be mantle mount and us jokers.
That sounds terrible. 3 dudes and a mantle mount, man.
Fantastic.
That's wrong, man. On so many levels.
It's fantastic. It's hilarious. So Len has this comment here. Were you guys impressed at all with Yamaha's new flagship AVR? And this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier, Len and guys, is that they try to get you with this word, right? They take 2 words and they put them together, flagship. What the hell does this mean? Oh, this is our best thing. This is our best thing. $3,000, and you're telling me I only get 3 immersive audio formats, one of which is just coming, down the line on a firmware update, and I only get 11 channels of processing and power for $3,000. Other companies are doing way more than that. Yes, they do have some really nice DACs, but you guys realize these DAC chips that are really, really nice are only like $150, $200.
So I could drop that in another one.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, if you really want, you can add that on at some other part of the chain of the signal if you need to. But the bottom line is, like, until Yamaha does something better with Wipeout, like, I don't think $3,000 is. But that's me, right? My living room is a complete clusterfuck.
Well, hold on.
From a like room correction standpoint.
You've reviewed a Yamaha recently, right? Some of their
it's like a
stuff.
$1,500 unit.
So how was Wipeout or whatever they call it? How was it? Did you get to try it out? Was it good?
Yeah, I tried. Yeah, of course I tried it. I mean, you key. That's the room correction, so you can't not have in order.
How did it do?
Okay, in order from least to best.
Okay.
We've got Sony. I don't even know what it's called. Pioneer. Don't know what that's called.
Macaque.
Yeah, macaca or something. Then we have Accu EQ for the Onkyo's.
Right.
Then Wipeout. Then Odyssey. Then it's Anthem room correction. And I think I haven't experienced Dirac in my living room. This is everything I've experienced in my living room. Dirac I have not. I've heard it at a trade show in a hotel room, which normally sucks ass for any kind of sound. But a 5.2 sounded way better than an Atmos system with Dirac Live coming from an audio control processor.
I'm so excited for your audio control.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Now, since Pioneer and Onkyo have added Dirac to their newest receivers, this is also a different thing. Oh, yes. Room Perfect.
Yeah, that's for the ballers.
I don't have a Macintosh or a Lingdorf. We're not I'm not balling like Don over here.
That's fancy stuff right there.
Yes. Yeah, anything that has DORF in the name, that's just way too expensive.
I did hear Don's Lingdorf, and I'll be honest, it was pretty stinking impressive. It sounded super, super clean, man. Really cool. And they've got totally different sounds for their instead of the whoop.
Yeah,
it's totally different, man. It was cool.
Yeah. So here's Croson. You know what, Croson? The iPhone dictation always changes your name to Croissant. Because I put that in the group chat and it's like croissant. I'm like, oh damn it, croissant. They're like croissant. Mike and Joe were like croissant. And it kind of stems off this I was planning on making a video about this too because somebody in a Facebook group was like, hey, I'm looking at yes, exactly, Angela, croissant. In the Facebook group, they're like, oh, hey, I'm looking at a new AV receiver. What should I look for? Someone was like, Yamaha. I've been with Yamaha for the last 15 years, and it's fantastic. And in my head, I'm like, you are not the right person to give any fucking advice, bro. Yeah. Like, you haven't tried Accu EQ. You haven't tried Odyssey. And in 15 years, a lot has changed.
Everything.
And so it's like, it's hard to like, luckily in the past 3 years, I've had all of them except for Dirac and of course Room Perfect. Those are the only two ones that I haven't had experience in my space. And like I was saying earlier, my space is a complete.
When's the audio control coming in, bro?
It's like another month or so.
So have any of you ever experienced emo Q?
What's
Emo Q? Is this a new music thing that you're into, Mike?
Emo Q.
Nah.
Emo Q?
Literally. So Emotiva before they went with Dirac
Emo Q.
Back in the day. So 15 years. Well, it's probably been like 13 years ago. I bought a UMC1. So that was way predecessor to the RMC1 and UMC2 and all that. So it had Emo Q. That's exactly how you spell it. It was actually,
Emo Q.
it was terrible, and that's why they got rid of it.
You
It
should,
was-
you know what? You should. I always tease you about your thumbnails.
Yeah.
You should do another one, sad face with like dark hair.
So
Sad.
some makeup, some
Em-
mascara.
Emo
and stuff,
Q
and
any
emo-
good? Is it good?
Emo Q.
Yeah, that's
terrible.
hilarious.
No, it was bad, but yeah, they got rid of it. And rightfully
Dear,
so.
I don't know why this makes it.
Well, think about it. They're trying to come up with their own proprietary software that these other companies have been just doing for decades, literally, and they just never could get it to work. I mean, Emotiva, I love the brand. I love the company. I think they make some great products. I've just never been.
Wait, Snoots. Go to Snoots'
I saw
comment.
that.
Where is he? Where is he?
Sound like
I'm
5 minute
in.
segment with a teenager's questions. Oh gosh,
Woo!
that's fantastic, man. But yeah, so but I'm glad they went with Dirac. I think it's a much better choice. So
Nope.
on it.
Yeah, man. Hey,
So-
we're almost up on time. Anything else that we want to talk about? Any new videos coming up that you guys have that we should look out for?
I got some new Martin Logan. No, I'm sorry, DevTech subwoofers coming. They're
Dude, those are
new.
way off, bro.
No.
How do you get Martin Logan from Def
So,
Tech?
well, here's the reason, because I was talking with Martin Logan today about possibly doing a home theater tour. They got a massive home theater, so I had Martin Logan on the brain. But yes, so DevTech, 2 of their 15-inch subwoofers that they just announced not too long ago, probably about a month ago. So those should be coming in. Possibly we'll be getting in a new Vava. Vava's got a new series of, or not new series, but just a new ultra short throw projector.
UST.
So might be getting that in there. So Aaron, this is YouTube, not OnlyFans. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, he said he's
Oh,
taking
yeah.
a shower. Anybody want to
Oh,
join?
oh,
Oh
hilarious.
no.
And
hilarious.
Tristan Jones here is right. I do have a brand new monitor, which is very interesting because it's 43-inch, $1,000,
Mm.
and all the gaming features work. Whereas this 55-inch Sony, that's $1,200, gaming features are coming next year.
Yeah.
So, and in HDR game mode, whoo,
What is it?
bright
What is it?
fuck. Oh, it's some random Chinese brand. Oh no, it's by Gigabyte. It's by Gigabyte. My
Oh,
bad.
okay.
Well, those
that's
are
not a
two
brand.
different companies, random Chinese brand and Gigabyte. That's like
Okay. Well, it's called the Aurus. Aurus.
Aurus.
I don't know. Walrus without the W.
wow. No, your review is going to be spectacular.
It's I actually uploaded a short today. It's a 60-second unboxing. It's I shot it all vertically. It's
So that's what you got. You got that. What else? Anything else?
the Revon
oh, everybody's excited about that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't even
also-
care about
oh,
Blu-rays, and I want to see what it's about.
Okay, so somebody put up a review
Uh,
video already. Dude's had it for 2 days. I don't know.
uh,
Anyway,
Oh, I saw
Um,
it. He's in another country, right?
yeah. I think he's Australia. So there are some hidden features of this that they are not advertising that actually make this thing very compelling for those that need it. So
it must be illegal.
no, not at all. Not at all. Not like
Yeah.
sharing people's video libraries.
It's like that's what I'm saying. That's what it does. Oh man.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jacob. Yeah, I gotta try new stuff. It's YouTube. It's constantly changing, man.
Yeah, man.
pushing for it.
The shorts are definitely different, man.
Yes.
I'm even doing my first short.
Yeah, you did. You try to
Different?
freak
I was
everybody out. I'm really gonna miss my daughters or my speakers. Could you tell me which one it is? I love it.
Thought I'd
Love
have
it.
some fun with it. My first short. So
Did
Yeah.
you already do the monolith review?
I have not done my review because of everything that happened over the
Yeah.
weekend, and so that's
Yeah,
coming.
I feel the pressure. I feel like, man, if I don't get it out and Michael's already doing his, I feel like, man, I gotta hurry up. I gotta do it. I gotta do it today.
Crank
I
it
gotta
out.
do it
man.
today.
Crank
It's just,
it
you know, you gotta hook it up. You gotta redo your whole system.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Big
do
deal.
want to, you know, do all that.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. I got that coming up. What else?
Oh,
Other
look
reviews.
at
I got
I
some
saw
random
Youth Man
stuff.
doing TikTok. Yeah, some people were saying that, they're like, Youth Man's on TikTok.
Yeah, dude, he's
Sorry, there
dancing
won't
up
be-
a
There
storm.
won't be any dancing. Nah, dude. I ain't gonna be doing pop, 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 pop.
That
pop.
one song, Shorty got a big old booty. Mike's all dancing to that.
Nah,
I'm
won't
kidding.
be
Totally
me.
kidding. Totally kidding. Hey, but there is this one dude who copied this Bella Porch thing. She's just like standing there and this drone is flying around her. She's just doing this, and it got like 10 million views. So he did it, and he's got like 30 million views. So I don't know, Mike. You could just stand in the field, do this, you know, have a drone.
No, what was his dance last time?
I'll just stand on.
He says his little the dance that they do in the. He's like, not a lot of people dance in the church.
At the church.
Yeah. Oh, in the church.
Oh yeah, he did this.
Oh, dude. Hashtag church dance. Dude.
There it is.
Blow up. It will blow. Why am I just coming up with shit? You know,
you're just on fire. And by the way, wasn't there a challenge at the beginning of this that if we mention or not mention something?
Yeah, I did not mention that at all.
Where's that at?
Hey, baby.
You thought I forgot?
Oh,
I did not forget.
I need a ka-ching sound.
Where's that? Where's them super chats, man?
Anyway, let's hop backstage. We got the after show, right?
Let's do it, man. Right. Let's have some fun.
That's right. Thank you guys, everybody, for hanging out here. This is the Daily HiFi podcast. We do this every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're new here or watching the replay, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button here on the Daily HiFi YouTube channel. And if you're wondering what this after show is, go to patreon.com/dailyhifi and, you know, sign up and you will get the link for the video chat, which we are about to jump into in the next few minutes. So if you are a patron of Daily HiFi, we will see you in just a few minutes. For all those normal people, sorry.
Oh, we love you guys.
It's all good. Yes, we love you for hanging out. We will see you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe to all our channels, Youthman, Joe and Tell, Techno Dad, and we'll see you
not Aaron's.
Oh yes, that's right. I forgot. Aaron's not here. Out of sight, out of mind. Don't forget to subscribe to Aaron's Audio Corner as well. I think the links are down in the description. Anyway, have a good one. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Yeah.
Wow.